Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I thought I'd give you one more video today. And the theme of my video today is that you all need to keep your eye on the ball. And that's what I tell my sons that when we practice baseball every single time we go, is to keep your eye on the ball. Keep your eye on what's important, which is the ball. And with the market having gone down over the last week on temporary news that doesn't mean anything in the scheme of things, the big picture, which is that the fact that the crypto market is here to stay and that crypto is going to change the world. That's what's important. That's the ball. And I'm going to show you 4 articles just from today that show you that the bigger picture, the ball. The first one is the NASDAQ is building a tool to predict crypto price movements. And here's the key part. It says, amid growing interest of the institutional firms in the cryptocurrency market, new service offerings are being launched by established enterprises. The leading American exchange NASDAQ is working on developing analytical tools for predicting the price movements of crypto assets, according to CoinDesk. That's all you need to hear. As I've been telling you for months, they are building the infrastructure. All you're facing right now is temporary market sentiment that's in the down direction because most investors just simply do not understand or don't have the stomach to hold until the real stuff begins to happen, which is the institutions and brokerages and investors that traditionally have invested only in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds start to come into this market. Next, I wanted to show you this. Everybody gets sells and freaks out every time we hear about the SEC is gonna. They can't decide if they're going to pass an ETF, and they can't. They're going to push this decision off to this. Well, I'm here to tell you, yes, the SEC matters for the United States, but I have an SEC crystal ball. I don't know if I've mentioned it to you. And the crystal ball, here's what it says to me. The crystal ball says that the SEC is not going to watch, like the article you're looking at right now. Canada doesn't care what the SEC is doing. And all of the other countries across the world, they're starting their own mutual funds in cryptocurrency. They're starting their own ETFs. And the truth is, Michael Arrington, the other day, he said that the SEC, he used language I won't use here, but he basically said the SEC is putting the United States behind the world on cryptocurrencies, and he's right. But eventually, they're going to do what they have to do because they don't have a choice unless they want to be left behind by the world. And this is just one article where Bitcoin mutual fund launches in Canada. And so Canada is already doing their thing. They don't care what the SEC is doing. The world is about to jump headfirst into cryptocurrencies, and they're doing it day by day by day. Eventually, you're going to have a turn in market sentiment once the world truly realizes what's happening. And when that turn in market sentiment happens, all of these people who have been putting investment vehicles in place and adding brokerages to the system and adding new gateways for people to get into and out of cryptocurrencies, the next bull run, in my opinion, is going to be much larger than the current one. All right, moving along. There were 2 pieces of news from Malta, and I'm going to do a video on Malta because I'm fascinated by Malta, just like I'm fascinated by Liechtenstein. I'm also going to do a video on Zug, Switzerland. These are the 3 places that are going to be that are growing the cryptocurrency ecosystem more than anybody, and they're booming for that reason. These guys, they're smart people. Anyway, Malta Stock Exchange signs an MOU with Binance to launch security tokens trading platform. So Malta's equivalent of, say, the New York Stock Exchange is going to begin trading cryptocurrencies, and they've got to deal with Binance to set that up. So, and we already know the New York Stock Exchange is coming in. We already know the NASDAQ's coming in. All we have right now is a temporary negative sentiment that isn't even a rational sentiment for anyone who's really reading the news and paying attention. All right, I want to show you this one last article. This is all keeping your eye on the ball. The U.S. crypto exchange Bittrex starts Maltese digital asset trading platform. So we already know that Binance went over to Malta and has opened an exchange, and now Bittrex is opening an exchange over there. Well, the world is getting into cryptocurrency. That's just a fact. And just because the United States is behind the 8 ball, that does not mean that in the mid to long term, really the short to mid to long term, that cryptocurrencies are not, the sentiment won't change and it's going to go crazy. It is. It's just a matter of time. And so you just got to be tough and sit and hold. All right. Today is September 11th, and I wanted to, I've got many new subscribers. And so I wanted to briefly tell you my story. I've told the story before on this channel, but I'm going to tell it as fast as I can. When I was a financial advisor for one of the top 3 Wall Street firms, and it was based in Atlanta. And I had taken the tests that they require you to take before you can go to training with this particular firm. You had to take the Series 7 and then the Series 31. The Series 7 is just just the general brokerage test. The 31 was futures, as I recall. But anyway, when you pass those tests, if you didn't pass those tests, they fired you. If you did pass those tests, you went to training in New York City. When I went to training, the headquarters of the firm that I was with was in Tower 2, the one with the antenna. And we went there and we spent 3 weeks in training. And I can't remember the exact floor. What I do remember is on the Trade Center Tower 2, you would go up an elevator, and then you would get off that elevator and get on another elevator to go the rest of the way up. We were somewhere in here, and I can't remember the exact floor. I can look it up. We were there from 6 in the morning until 6 at night for 3 weeks. When I got done with training, it was a Friday. We flew out of New York back to Atlanta on a Friday, and those terrorist planes hit on that next Tuesday. And I'll never forget, I was at the brokerage firm that I worked at, and I remember we had already seen the first plane hit, and then when the second plane hit, one of the brokers in the office, he turned to me and he said, "This is World War III." This was right when the second plane hit, because we had TVs that were on the desktop. Now, every year, it's either, I can't remember if it's the National Geographic Channel or the History Channel. I'll find out tonight and remind you guys. But every year I watch the show. I think it's called 120 Minutes. It's a show where they took several different people that had video cameras that day when 9/11 happened, and they were on the street down there. And there's one scene that just bugs me every year that I see. Every day when I was there training, we would go down to the street level, and there was a sandwich shop across the street from Tower 2, and it had glass windows, so you'd be standing in line inside of the sandwich shop, and you could look out the glass windows onto the street. Well, there's one scene in that show that I watch every year where people have run into that sandwich shop because the buildings are falling. And you're looking out of that glass in that same sandwich shop where I was ordering a Reuben, as I recall. I would get a Reuben when we went in there. These people have run into that shop, and they're looking out the windows, and it's the most eerie thing that I've ever seen since I was there. And I stood in that same spot as all of a sudden you hear people screaming, and someone's got the camera looking out that window, and all of a sudden you see dust start to come by, and before you know it, it's completely black outside and everybody's screaming. The most eerie thing that I've seen. But anyway, what a horrible day that was. But I just thought I would tell you that story. Well, thank you for watching, and I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, tell your friends and family, and hit the like button. Thank you.